Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Sunday edition of the Bandwagon Hockey Podcast. It is Sunday, October 22nd, 11:40 a.m. Eastern Time. That's 12:40 p.m. Atlantic Time. Yeah, that's the name of that time zone for
Yeah.
Ryan. Ryan sounds good today. He didn't get a head or a jack thingy to adapt his computer for his microphone, but he's using his new computer's mic rather than his AirPods, so he sounds crisp.
Yeah, last week I didn't even think to just like straight up try the new microphone, or I guess the microphone on my new laptop. So Mitch has informed me that this is sounding much better to the ears. So yeah, no, it's been a busy week, so I still didn't get the stupid thing for these stupid friggin' jacks on this laptop. But yeah, I guess this mic works, so we're gonna roll with it. How you
So
been?
I'm good, dude. I'm good. Yesterday was a fun game. Well, no, it was a shitty game, but it was a fun atmosphere for the first period. But that's not where I want to start. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Do you want? Okay, we're gonna play a game of trivia. Okay,
Oh no.
Ryan, how many games were played in the NHL on Thursday, October 19th?
Thursday?
Yeah,
Like 11, 12?
12.
Yeah.
Ryan, question number two. How many games were played on Friday, October 20th?
I'm gonna say 2.
That is correct. Ryan,
Yeah,
how many games were played yesterday?
I'm gonna say 15.
15 is correct. Ryan, how many games are there tonight?
I'm gonna say 2.
There are two. How many games are tomorrow?
This one I don't actually know, but I'm gonna guess like,
Oh, it's singular.
oh, it's singular? There's
There
one?
is a game. There
Oh,
is a
okay.
game. There
Okay.
is a game. And Ryan, the final question of the quiz. How many
Sure.
games are on Tuesday?
Oh, yeah, 16.
16 games.
Yeah. Dude,
The
there was one
NHL
point last
stays
night.
NHLing.
I know somebody like tweeted this out last week too, so it's not like unique, but I took a screenshot of when the Leafs game ended and it was like, oh, I cannot wait to switch to another game in progress right now. And
Yeah.
every single game was in intermission. It's like one, the
Yeah. When there
schedule
were
being,
5 games.
yeah, one, the schedule being like crazy with loaded up games on some days and like one on other days, but also the
Yeah.
schedule having normally having all the games starting at the same times is brutal. I can't understand it.
It's
Like I know on Tuesday
I
they're
just
gonna go with a more staggered approach to it, but
Well, that's the
oh,
whole point of Tuesdays that every single game starts at a different time. So the games start at 6, 6:30, 6:45, 7,
mhm.
7:15, 7:30, 7:45, 8, 8:15, 8:30, 8:45, etc., etc. And the latest game starts at 11. Like Vegas and Philly in Vegas starts at 11 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a midnight start for you. That's crazy.
Yeah, I will not be seeing any
Um
of that.
like that's an 8 p.m. local time start in Vegas.
Mhm.
Um which is like that's absurd. Like who's I guess no one's staying up for that on the West Coast or on the East Coast. Like that's insane.
Yeah,
But
no.
what I don't understand is that on these Saturdays, I think the example you mentioned was on Wednesday or Tuesday when like 5 games started at 7 p.m. and there were no other games that night.
Yeah, that one
Um
was disgustingly bad. I
and like
remember that.
every single game was at intermission at the same time.
Yeah.
Um how do on nights like that, how do you not have 2 games start at 7:30?
I don't know. It's so simple. Like that way you can just like as a I'm making a real effort this year to just start watching more random games because up until this point I'm obviously a huge Sens fan. I watch all of their games and then I catch whatever else I can essentially. But this year I'm like making a real effort to try to watch like at least one game a night if I can. Um and like the nights where there's just like either one or two games on that I don't care about, it's annoying because one, I want to watch a game I care about. And on the days where there's like 15, it's annoying because I can't keep up with it all. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just, they have not been able at all to hit a good medium with their
And
schedule.
it doesn't make any sense either. It's like
No.
and because the thing is that it would kind of make sense if the main reason for this was to avoid the NFL schedule, which they
Mhm.
largely do because they load up Saturdays and avoid Sundays. They have like no games on Mondays, but then they load up games on Thursday when there's Thursday night football. So
Yeah.
why are you not putting 7 games on Tuesday, 7 games on Wednesday, and then like your stupid like 12 to 15 games on Saturday? But then the issue with the Saturday is that so it's Saturday afternoon. Like hockey season is fully underway. We're a week in. Everyone's still like super pumped up about the season and everything. Week and a half in, and
Mhm.
you have one game at 1 o'clock, Ottawa Detroit, and then the next game that starts in the day I think is at 5. So there's a whole hour long break between
Yeah.
the end of the Sens and Red Wings game and the start of the Anaheim Ducks Arizona Coyotes game. Like, are you
Yeah.
joking with me right now? And then I think Buffalo and the Islanders started a bit early too, and then every other game was that's either 7 or 10. I think
Mhm.
Vegas and Chicago was at 8, but every other game started at 10, to my
Like it would
knowledge.
be so simple to just like you I think you mentioned a little bit earlier too, to just simply put a few games at 7:30 rather than putting them all at
Yeah,
7 or whatever the example might be. Like that way when it's an intermission, people can flip to another game and not have to flip to something else and maybe don't come back. Like it's just terrible marketing. Like if
I
I'm a
want to
casual
know.
fan and I'm tuning into a hockey game and it goes to intermission, like I'm not staying there for all of that mostly bullcrap analysis by local markets. But
Yeah,
um if I'm trying to flip to something else, another game on and it's not there, I'm just looking for something else to take up that spot and losing the like and then the NHL's losing the viewership. So I don't get it.
I want to know here. I don't know how to check what time games started at because yesterday, um, I know for a fact that Vancouver, Florida, Washington, Montreal, Tampa, and Toronto all started at 7. I want to know what time the San Jose Nashville game started. Vegas and Chicago was at 8. Columbus was in Minnesota. You'd think that game started at 8 because of the time zone. But then,
Hmm.
like, looking at Dallas had a home game, St. Louis had a home game, Colorado had a home game, and then Edmonton, Seattle, and LA all had home games. I don't remember seeing games starting at 8 and 9, but like Colorado's home games should be starting at 9 because they're 2 hours behind the Eastern time zone. So like that's a 7 p.m. local time start. And then
Hmm.
I think Minnesota's in the Central time zone as well as St. Louis and Chicago and I think even Dallas. So if you have all of those games start at like 8 or 8:30 and then you have your 3 nightcap games start at 10 and then maybe do one of those like Seattle or LA start at 10:30, which is a 7:30 local time start. So then you're still like you're not screwing over the local times by starting at 7 or 7:30 and then for the Eastern time zone and in the Atlantic time zone it's
Hmm.
staggered so that we can like stay up and watch because
Yeah.
like I'm sorry if I'm staying up to watch Connor McDavid play or if I'm staying up to watch like Seattle or LA play, like I do not want to have intermission time. If it's
Hmm.
11:30
Yeah.
and I'm like in my bed watching hockey, I will fall asleep at
Oh
intermission.
yeah. Oh,
So if I
100%.
can't
Yeah.
flip to another game at 11:30 p.m., I'm gonna fall asleep. You got to
Yeah.
stagger those games.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know.
It
It
makes no
seems.
sense.
I don't know if
And it's been like this
it,
for years and years and years,
yeah.
and they're not going to change. Like, I don't really understand there. I would love to hear why they just decide to block them all in at the same hours. And maybe they
I
have
wonder if it's
come
just
out and said that
laziness.
before, but I don't know.
I wonder
Like,
if it's
there's
just
got to be a
laziness
reason. There's got to be a reason, but I
because
I don't want to spend too much time yelling at the clouds about
like here okay and then this is my last point on it.
it.
The NBA does it so well. So their opening games are this coming Tuesday. I actually just realized that now, so I'm excited for that. um and they have 2 games. They always do like a small schedule to start the season with like marquee matchups, but then the
Mhm.
second day of the season, which is Wednesday, they have 3 games starting at 7. They have 3 games starting at 7:30, 2 at 8, 1 at 9, 9:30, and 10:30.
Yeah, that's
You
perfect.
can watch basketball for like 6 hours straight. Like no
Hmm.
halftime, no having to listen to annoying commentary from ESPN, nothing. Like you can just watch basketball for 6 hours
Yeah,
if you want to.
yeah,
It's crazy.
and that's the dream.
That is the dream. Okay, so huge slate of games yesterday. do we want to just go Detroit, Ottawa? So DeBrincat's first game back in Ottawa, a lot of hype around it. It was kind of its own primetime game, if you want to call it that, at 1 o'clock on a Saturday. I'm starting to really enjoy the afternoon games on Saturdays, mainly because, like, obviously it'd be ideal if Ottawa could play like Saturday nights, but otherwise they'd get no eyeballs and no attention, because even when they are on Sportsnet, they don't get talked about anyway, let alone when they overlap with Toronto and Montreal or whatever. But it was just a weird game. The refs kind of ruined it for me. First period was fun. Detroit kind of looked slow. Ottawa kind of worked them in the first period, but I think the first period ended 1-1, if I remember correctly. And then Detroit just kind of took off in the second period after a controversial penalty call against Ridley Gregg. I know you and I have differing views of it. I have very differing views from all of Sen's Twitter, apparently. I personally thought it was a penalty, but a lot of people did not, which is neither here nor there. But the game kind of just like took on a life of its own at that point, because the referees just couldn't keep their whistles in their pockets and were calling everything. I think there were 16 minor penalties in the game.
Yeah. No, it
12
made
power plays, I think it was.
Yeah, the first, like you said, the first period was so much fun, not only just being from an Ottawa fan's perspective in that they were playing really well, but just like the emotion in the building, watching from home anyways, was really cool. Obviously, they were booing Alex DeBrincat every second they could when he got the puck. And it just seemed like there was some fun tension going on. Like Brady Tkachuk was yelling at Alex DeBrincat's face there in a scrum.
That was awesome.
Like there was just some fun tension going on. And then the refs decided that they needed to take it into their own hands. I believe that it really started at that Ridley Gregg penalty. And
it did.
I think like you said, we disagree on this, but I think they called that so they wouldn't get out of hand, Ottawa kind of going at Alex DeBrincat. And from there on, they kept calling the most like softest penalties possible from there on out, and it just didn't make any sense.
17 minor penalties were called in the game.
Yeah, the whole
and
game
there was a fight. Pardon?
Yeah, the whole game was special teams from there on out essentially, and that just kills momentum of the game.
There were 11 power plays in the game, 6 for Ottawa, 5 for Detroit, and that doesn't include 6 other minor penalties that were called that were just like canceled out. So just way too many stoppages. The game had no flow. Ville Husso was awesome, and Jonas Korpisalo was not. So I know, Ryan, you've been pushing the Forsberg to start narrative, so I bet you he gets to start on Tuesday, and if he plays well, it's probably his net to lose for the next little while.
Also, we should say that like the Detroit power play looks nasty right now. They're like operating at over 50% or close to it, something like that. It's insane.
It was good. It was I was kind of surprised by the what's the word for it? I can't think of the word, but who was on the power play. It was like obviously the expected guys, Mo Seider, Dylan Larkin, Alex DeBrincat, but then they had Shane Gostisbehere out there.
Yeah.
And then I don't think Lucas Raymond was on the first power play. I want to say it was David Perron. I can't remember quite exactly, but I was surprised to see Gostisbehere on the power play. But like that guy's such a good player.
Yeah, sneaky good.
He's been a sneaky good, really good player for the last bunch of years. Wasn't he in the Calder race like when he first started in 15-16? I think he finished.
Like he had a stupid good rookie season and then I think kind of just fell off. But he's still a good player, and like in my mind, like I have this vision of the Detroit decor that includes a Justin Hall, a Ben Sherratt, a Jeff Petrie, these kind of guys, and I'm like, and I kind of just lumped Gostisbehere into that pile. But you know what? No, like yesterday, he showed that he's still a very effective player to me, anyways.
So Gostisbehere finished second in Calder voting in 2015-16. And that's McDavid's rookie year. So I think McDavid actually finished third that year, but he got hurt. He would have won it in a landslide, but he got hurt. Kaprizov won it that year. But in Gostisbehere's career, he has 317 points in 543 games.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like, that's really good. So he spent the first 6 years of his career as a Flyer. Really fell off in his last couple of years, just fell out of favor in Philly. I can't remember if he was traded or signed in Arizona, but he had a solid year in Arizona and then was traded to Carolina at the end of last year and then signed in Detroit this offseason. So sneaky good career for him, kind of almost like a Tyson Berry type player where it's just like he's on your team basically to like run a power play and create some offense. He's not there to eat minutes. He's not there to play like defense. He's there to provide some offense from the back end. And he was very noticeable. Couple shaky games from Tim Stützle so far. The points are there, but it doesn't feel like he's really deserved it so far. Brady Tkachuk's had a tough couple games.
I don't know if there's evidence to this, but like in my mind, it feels like Tim Stützle is a notoriously slow starter.
I think that's. I think it's tough to say notoriously because his career is still so young, but like he got off to a shitty start last year, so I kind of see where you're coming from.
Always has I guess you can't say always yet, but like I feel like the last couple years, his second half of the season's been ridiculously better than his first,
especially last year, right? So and this year kind of confirms that. But the points are there. That's the weird thing. Like, I think, like he got a point.
Like, he's a superstar now because he can pick up the quietest 3-assist game you'll ever see, and like have a not great game, but still have 6 points through.
He didn't get a point last night. I could have swore he got a point on the Sanderson goal. And oh my God, Jake Sanderson has me buzzing right now. I really liked also DJ Smith. It felt like he was maybe overcoaching a little bit. We won't spend too much time on Ottawa here, even though we've already spent about 5 minutes. It felt like he was overcoaching, just like switching up the D lines just way too much. It didn't really feel like they needed a shakeup yet. I would have liked to see, like, despite the defensive lack that Chychrun and Chabot had shown to this point, Ottawa's D had been like really good in the first few games. I didn't love the idea of just because Zub was hurt to shake up all three pairings. Jake Sanderson's good enough where he can kind of make up for Jacob Bernard-Docker's shortcomings, and then if he can't, then maybe you make the adjustment mid-game. I didn't like that they went into the game shaking it up. But the minutes distribution yesterday was still not perfect, but I liked it. Chabot was down to 25 minutes. Sanderson was at 24 and a half, and Chychrun was at 22. I'd like to see Chabot at around 23 and Chychrun up around 23, 24, and have all three guys between 22 and 25, but it's getting there.
What was JBD at?
10. He was I didn't notice him, which is usually a good thing, but a lot of people were kind of ripping his game.
No, that's just like exactly what I expected, because before the game started, DJ essentially said that the pairings were going to be fluid, and based on what you said during the game,
didn't see that.
You said he was kind of switching them around a bunch. So I think DJ Smith didn't want to play him, and it was kind of
then fair enough. I didn't realize that was the mentality going in. If I'd have known that, then I probably, because I was losing my mind. Like every other shift, the D pairings were getting flipped around. It was
also
weird.
right when you said that comment, I kind of dismissed it because that was right when the 10-minute period where Travis Hamonic left the game as well. So, anyways, but the defense, it's looked good when healthy, but yesterday was kind of a little bit of a shit show.
And it was and that's one of those games where it's just like, that's going to happen 5-10 times in the span of an NHL season, where you outplay the hell out of a team.
Yeah.
And then you get goalied because they got goalied. They got goalied. Their goalie didn't help them. And then, I don't know, the refs kind of killed the momentum of the game, which definitely tilted in Detroit's favor, because at the point where the momentum was changed, it was Ottawa's momentum. So, anyway, big game against Buffalo coming up on Tuesday. Other things to note from yesterday: Connor Bedard scored his first goal at the United Center, which was sick. It was kind of it was his first real Bedard vintage kid's 18. But it was his first goal on a shot. His first goal was a wraparound, so it was cool to see.
Yeah, it was his first walk right down the middle of the slot, and he killed it. He killed it. Yeah.
He beat Aiden Hill so clean. But Vegas 6-0 on the season. I don't know. Are they the Cup favorite right now? They gotta I don't know if you can say that. We're 6 games in, but they just look so good, man.
Yeah, they have to be. And we've talked about this before. They ran back their entire team, so it's hard not to consider them a favorite when they just won it.
Yeah.
Like when they just won it last year, and now being 6-0, I think I saw it's the best start to a season from a defending Stanley Cup champion to in
Yeah.
NHL history. So they're doing something right in Vegas.
And another highlight of last night. I'm upset with myself. I woke up this morning and was looking at the scores. I didn't watch any hockey after the Sens game because Spider-Man 2 just came out, and that was my plans for the night. But I didn't realize that Carolina was playing Colorado last night. I
Mm,
am definitely upset with myself for missing that game. Colorado won 6-4. They are humming right along at 5-0, which is not being talked about because Vegas is 6-0. I really hope, although because of the stupid playoff system, those two teams can't meet in the conference final. Oh wait, they absolutely can, can't they? What division is Colorado in? Oh yeah, okay, they're in opposite divisions. I would
yeah,
love a Vegas Colorado. It kind of feels like those two teams in Dallas are just like so far and away above the rest of the conference out there. Um,
yeah, yeah. Looking at the whole thing right now, like before the season, you definitely would have put Edmonton up there, but they've stumbled, and we'll probably get to that a little bit. But um, yeah, no, those three right now are kind of it in the West.
and then a lot of mid.
Yeah, a lot of mid. How about
Um,
your over 500 Arizona Coyotes?
Dude, they're a fun team, man.
They're a
Did you see
fun
Keller's
team.
goal?
They're +4 goal differential, and no,
Did
I
you see?
didn't.
You didn't? Oh my god, you need to go
No.
find it. It's a laser. It's a laser. It's like a seeing eye snipe, just like through two bodies straight into the net to beat whoever was in net for Anaheim. Um, Arizona's probably my like number two team right now. Like
Yeah, they're
I've
so fun.
watched part of a game. I watched part of Cooley's debut, but I really want to like start looking for those Coyotes games. They're not on TV a ton in Canada, so it's a little
Mhm.
bit tough. They more or less have to be playing in their kind of own time slot or against a Canadian team for you to be really able to see their games. But I
Yeah.
definitely want to make an effort to see some Coyotes games. Definitely have a fantasy interest in them because I have Dursey and Cooley. All right. What other major notes do you want to get to? I know you had a list. Um,
Yeah. I don't know if we want to try to stick on stuff from last night, but another thing I had mentioned was, is Nikita Kucherov underrated?
oh, he so is.
Oh yeah.
We were just talking about it
He's
before
got to
coming
be,
on.
right?
Like
Yeah.
he's he's maybe the least talked about future. Like, is he first ballot Hall of Famer?
Oh yeah.
Because
Well,
so
it'll
here's the
depend who comes up with him, but like you'd like to think so.
is there a maximum number of players that can go into the Hall of Fame in a given year?
I
I
want to
don't know the answer to
say,
that question.
I know there. Yeah, I don't know. I know you have to get 75% of the
I
committee's
know that
votes. I don't know if there's a limit.
there might be like an unwritten rule that there's like a limit
Hmm.
or something. Like maybe
Yeah.
like the
I know there
boomer
is for
voters don't
females,
want
which
like
is
more than
dumb.
four.
Yeah.
But like it's kind of crazy. Kucherov, so he's got the Hart Trophy, he's got the Ted Lindsay, he's got the Art Ross, all in the same year, 2018-19, when Tampa
Hmm.
won the President's Trophy and got swept by Columbus. Um, he's 30 years old. He missed an entire season. He's got
Yeah.
738 points in 650 games. He missed an entire season, and it was his age 27 season. That is insane. Like if he's has a healthy year that year, which obviously he missed the entire season, so he just wasn't
Mm.
healthy. But if he plays like this is so that year was sandwiched in between 85 points in 68 games and 69 points in 47 games. If he has a healthy year that year, that's a 100-point season for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like he's been at a 100-point pace every year since 2017, 2018.
Yeah, that's absurd. And he's
Like I
never
don't
talked about in the top five conversation.
and
Never.
I don't know the exact number here, but I would put money on the only player having more points than him in those last five. Actually, no, he missed a whole year, so never mind.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the only players who have
Maybe
more
point per
points than him in that
game.
span would be Edmonton players. But yeah, points
Yeah.
per game, I would probably bet like McDavid, Draisaitl, and maybe McKinnon, but honestly, probably not.
Yeah, probably
Because
not.
McKinnon hadn't had a 100-point season until last year.
Yeah, no.
Let's see
So
what
I would
McKinnon's
definitely bet
last.
that Kucherov's up there.
And it's crazy because like I don't know, he just isn't like he's just not talked about enough. He's gonna be a Hall of Famer like pretty easily, and he just doesn't have that rep. And I think it's because he's Russian and he's a little bit of a dirtbag on the ice.
Yeah, maybe.
Right? Like that kind of takes
He's
away from a player's like perception in terms of like
okay.
popularity and
Out
when
of
you rank
active
guys.
out of active players, he is 5th in points per game.
Like
Behind
just
But out of everybody active right now, he's 5th.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Behind who?
Do you
Can I
want to?
guess?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, do you want to guess?
Okay, so McDavid's one.
Yep.
Crosby's going to be in there. This is his career.
Yep.
I don't know if Draisaitl would be in there because he had a couple of tough seasons. Although Kucherov had a couple of tough seasons, so I'm going to say Draisaitl.
Yep.
Okay, so
You've
it's
nailed
3 to
them. One,
4.
two, three.
Okay, number 4. Oh, Ovechkin.
Nope.
No, not Ovechkin. Not Ovechkin. Is it a Leaf?
No. I want to give you a
Okay.
hint, but it's way too big of a hint.
Which conference?
East.
Eastern Conference. Is it Malkin?
Yeah.
Oh
I
wow.
was gonna say
Okay.
it's 2 duos up at the top. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Damn.
Kucherov.
Nikita Kucherov's 5th in active points per game, eh?
Yep.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
McDavid at 149, Crosby at 126, which is crazy, that difference.
1.49.
Yeah, to
Oh my
1.26. And then
god.
1.17, 1.15, and then Kucherov at 1.13 points per
Who's
game for his
6?
career. Austin Matthews at 1.12.
What's McKinnon at?
He's 10th at 1.07.
He had some shitty years to start his career. His first like his entry level contract was like not what you'd
Mar-
expect from a guy who is as good as he is now as a number 1 pick.
Marner's ahead of him at 9.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Marner had 94 points in his 3rd season. McKinnon
Yeah.
did not. Um, damn, if I had a bunch of money to bet, I probably would have bet on McKinnon being a little bit higher there. But speaking of betting, Ryan, the
Yes, sir.
NFL season is going strong, and DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking new customers up with an offer that's even stronger. Bet $5 on any game this week to score $200 instantly in bonus bets. And DraftKings isn't stopping there. All customers can take advantage of a sweetener offer every game day this October. I said it last week. I'm going to say it again. I bet the Eagles last week. They lost. I lost a little bit of change last week. I'm not a big bettor, so I lost $5. But this week they've got the Sunday Nighter. They're wearing the Kelly Green jerseys. They're debuting those this year, or bringing them back this year. This is the first time they've worn them. And they play the 5-1 Miami Dolphins. The line is at -3 in favor of Philly, and the over/under is at 52.5. I am going to hit that under because I think Tua and that high-powered Dolphins offense gets slowed down by Philly's elite defense. And I'm taking Philly -3 because so far Miami's 5 wins have come against opponents with a combined 3 wins. So this is Miami's first real test besides their loss against the Bills. So we'll see. It's a big measuring stick game for the Dolphins tonight. Get in on the game day greatness. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet 5 on the NFL. That's code THPN only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Imagine memorizing that. That is an ad
You're
read
in like
there.
mid-season form with that now, though.
Yeah, I was zeroed in on that. And they're gonna change it in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right, we don't want to keep this pod going too long. Ryan has some school to do.
Yeah.
Where do we want to go from here? Do we want to look ahead in the schedule? I actually hadn't looked at the full 16 game slate. It's actually a lot of good games.
Well, just
on
one more
Tuesday.
thing to mention, just in the past couple days, I know we've kind of been touching on all the highly touted rookies. Leo Carlson got his first NHL goal. Did you see that?
That's true.
Yeah.
Anaheim has a wickedly fun core.
Yeah. Also, Mintikov, or however
Yep.
you pronounce his name, he also got his. Did he score, or was it just his first point? I can't remember.
He scored.
Yeah. He also
He
got
did
his first
score.
NHL goal then too. So
Yeah, he's got a
the
goal and
Ducks
an
with a
assist
couple of them.
in his first 4 games. They have like, holy shit, dude! Like between, I'm not even gonna mention Trevor Zegras because I do not think that he's going to be like a franchise player for them when they're good.
Mhm.
Like it's Mason McTavish, it's Leo Carlson, it's Jamie Drysdale, it's what's even his first name, Pavel Mintyukov, it's
Mhm.
Olin Zellweger, and then they've got
Yep.
one other stud defenseman who isn't with them right now. Is it Tristan Luneau? Is he the defenseman who won the defenseman of the year in the Q last year? Because they had
I
the
honestly
guy.
don't remember, but yeah, they had all
Okay,
three.
they had all 3, and I think Luneau's the one in the Q. And he's with the team right now. He's played 2 games, and
Mm.
although Zellweger isn't with them, so I'm not sure if he's hurt or if he just didn't make the team or if he's in the AHL right now. But like the
Not
talent
sure.
that this team has accumulated, and like what they already have, like if you like obviously the keys to the franchise are not with Trevor Zegras anymore. Maybe that's not obvious, but like they're not. It's gonna be when this team is competing in the playoffs, it's gonna be McTavish and Leo Carlson down the middle.
Yeah, he's not going to be there. He's certainly not going to be their superstar in terms of
No.
skill. He might be their face of the franchise in terms of like marketability, but he's not going
Right.
to be their big star in terms of skill. Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
He's gonna be like their Josh Norris in terms of like
Yeah,
talent level and hierarchy on the team.
yeah, elite support.
Elite support, and then like throw
Yeah,
Troy Terry into that mix.
yeah,
And if Lucas Dostal can sort of take the reins from John Gibson, and Lord knows someone needs to take the reins from John Gibson because
yeah.
that boy just ain't flying anymore. Like they should have
No,
traded him 3 years ago. I don't know why he's still on that team. They're not gonna be good this year. They're gonna get another high pick this year, but they're fun. And they weren't fun last year, but they're fun this year, and they're going to be fun for a while because man, their prospect line is sick.
yeah, they're just
Sneaky
loaded.
Seattle is 1-4-1.
Yeah,
They've had a tough start. I'm not sure what's going on there. I haven't taken in any Seattle games yet.
neither do I.
Philip Grubauer's been doing Philip Grubauer things, so I wonder if that's maybe got. I mean, I imagine that's got something to do with it. But they also just they don't have that top end talent yet, right? Like they're kind of waiting for Matty Beniers to turn into a superstar. He's got 1 point in 6 games.
Yeah.
Jared McCann has 2 goals and no assists in 6 games. Like they're the
Oof.
guys that they need to score goals for them aren't scoring goals for them, and it's not
Yeah,
going
they're
great.
-10 goal differential. Yikes.
Yeah, that's bad. And then
Yikes,
San Jose
yikes.
stays as expected. They're going to be
Yeah.
so bad this year.
If we're jumping around the standings here a little bit, how about your Metropolitan Division leading Philadelphia Flyers?
Man, oh man. As expected. As expected.
Boy.
Did you see Carter Hart? Oh my god, he's so good. He needs to get out. They need to trade Carter Hart and Travis Konechny.
Yeah. Like immediately.
Both of them.
Stop winning games.
Both
and
of
fire
them.
Tortorella. Fire Tortorella.
No, don't fire him. Just put him in the front office or something. Like Philly needs that man.
Yeah.
Like Philly wants that
True.
man so bad. Make him vice president of hockey operations or some bullshit.
But get him out from behind the bench.
Get him
He is
off
winning
that
games.
bench. He gets players playing too hard.
Yeah.
But I saw someone mention today, I think it was like a Sens account. I don't know why. But they were saying Edmonton needs to trade Jack Campbell and as many first round picks as necessary to Philly for Carter Hart.
Yeah, honestly.
And like they absolutely should.
Hmm. That would
Um
be crazy.
like Philly's timeline doesn't really start for another 3 years, and by that
Yeah.
time I think Jack Campbell would be going into like the last year of his deal by the time Mitchkov comes over.
Hmm.
And I think Philly has a couple of good prospects in their system as goaltenders. Like Samuel Urson, I think is supposed to be really good. He's the backup to
Hmm.
Hart right now. Um, and I mean, what's the point of having Carter Hart on this team right now?
Yeah, there really is none. If he's gonna be
Um,
stealing you games.
yeah, like
Um,
he's 25. He makes not a lot of money. I think he's less than 4 million. Not a lot of
hmm.
term left either, so you have to pay the piper on that one soon. And then Travis Konecny, like everyone wants a Travis Konecny.
Yeah,
He's nasty. He's an ass on the ice, and he's so
like,
good.
and you're the contract guy. Do you know his cap hit off the top of your head?
Konechny is I think 5.5.
Yeah, so like, and he puts up pretty good points still too. Like any playoff
He was
contender is
point a game
taking
last
that
year.
guy. Yeah, okay, yeah. Any playoff
Oh,
contenders taking that guy
did
at the
we lose
deadline.
Ryan?
Oh,
Oh, he's back.
hello.
He was a point a game last year. I think he had 61 points in 60 games last year. He's 26 years old.
Hmm.
He first round pick from the 2015 draft. I remember being pissed when Ottawa did not take him.
Hmm.
Um,
Like they'll get a
and
haul for him at a
oh
deadline.
yeah, because he signed through next year too. Like five
Oh,
and a
oh
half,
my God. Yeah, they'll get
five and a
several
half.
first round picks if they want to trade him at the deadline this year.
They should have traded him last year.
Yeah.
And when they trade him, they should like retain half.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. For this year,
like
yeah,
only
absolutely.
sign through next year. Like you can get a Brandon Hagel type contract,
Yeah.
like type deal
You
for him
should be
because
able to get more, but
you should, but the contract, like Hagel, part of like I'd say like almost 50% of the value that Hagel had was making 1.5. So like Konechny's not
yeah, but
quite
if you
there.
get
But if you
connect
retain
me down
half,
on 2.5,
yeah.
oh my
If
God.
you get that number down under 3, that's ridiculous. And
Stupid.
um so yeah, but it just seems like Philly like I don't know. Actually, you know what? They've got Briere in there. He made some rebuild type moves this
Hmm.
offseason. Like he traded Kevin Hayes. He got rid of Provorov. Like if anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be Briere. I'd be less confident that Philly would actually do these types of things if the old regime was still in there.
Yeah, and
Um,
like even that hypothetical send Jack Campbell there, they've been kind of shown they've been willing to weaponize that cap space. Like they took Sean Walker for almost nothing
and Cal
this
Peterson.
offseason, right? And Cal Peters. Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
So and he's fit in or not Peter. Sean Walker has already got a couple goals for them this year. So I would love to see them make a couple more moves like that too.
Imagine a duo, like a tandem of Jack Campbell and Cal Peterson in Philly.
Yeah, that's perfect for a
That's
rebuild.
that's some tank commander shit right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
That's like playing freaking I don't know, that's like whatever Anaheim did last year. Like that's
Yeah. And
oh
having
man,
them both locked in for a couple more years. Or
yeah,
is
like you're getting the
yeah.
next 3 first overall picks there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um man, I want Philly to do that
That's how you
badly.
counteract the Tortorella effect.
Exactly. Just put the two worst and most overpaid goalies in the league in your net.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have anything else we want to hit on before we wrap?
One really cool thing that I saw just before we hopped on is apparently Makar is now the fastest defenseman to 250 points in NHL history,
It's so
which is
insane.
crazy.
It's so
241 games.
insane.
Like he's above a point per game still at this point in his career as a
I want to see
defenseman. It's
what Bobby Orr's
stupid.
first few years looked like because
Well,
I think he
yeah,
was the
he was the one
previous
who
fastest.
like I'm pretty sure he beat Orr for the record. So
Oh my gosh. Okay. Bobby Orr was like not that good his first few years. Oh, you know what? I was listening on a podcast. So they were talking I'm just going to do a little story time. So just for
sure.
context, Bobby Orr's rookie season, he had 41 points in 61 games. That's in 1966, 1967. His second year, he regressed a little bit, 31 points in 46 games. And then in his third year, he put up almost a point per game, 64 and 67. And then after that, he went crazy. He went 120, 139, 117. He had 100 points seasons 6 years in a row.
Ew.
But listen to this, Ryan.
Yeah.
In the podcast I was listening to, I want to say it was the Athletic Hockey Show. Bobby Orr's breakout aligned with when the NHL expanded from 6 to 12 teams. And you want to know what happens when you double the amount of teams in the league?
The skill disparity.
The teams get worse.
Yeah.
Bobby Orr, fake player.
Oh.
No, but that's insane that Cale Makar is past his record in this era of hockey.
Stupid.
Look at the equipment that goalies wear. It's absurd.
Yeah, I know.
It's ridiculous. I had one other thing I wanted to mention. Oh, is it time to hit the panic button in Edmonton?
Oh, it's getting close.
1-3
especially
with
with
the year.
like
Can't get a save.
I haven't seen any update on McDavid, but like he got banged up last night too. It's not looking fun in Edmonton right now.
And it's kind of hilarious too. Like, oh my god, if you were to look at Edmonton being 1-3-1, you'd be like, okay, maybe Draisaitl and McDavid only have like a handful of points each. No, Draisaitl has 9-5. McDavid has 8-5. Yeah. Hyman and Nugent Hopkins both have 6 points. Bouchard's at a point a game through 5 games, and it's the goaltending just like it always is. Except Jack Campbell actually has a 912 save percentage through 3 starts, which is kind of incredible, despite a 365 goals against. It's Stuart Skinner
if I'm wrong, but I don't think Connor Brown's done much yet, right?
Connor Brown has done 0 things in 5 games.
Yeah,
so no points.
I dropped him in fantasy because he was not doing anything. But they still kind of seem a little top heavy early in the season. Anyways, their roster doesn't look it, but they.
Oh my god, yeah, it does. Oh yeah, their roster doesn't look it, but their stat sheet does. Look at this. Okay, Draisaitl 9, McDavid has 8, Hyman has 6, Nugent Hopkins at 6, Bouchard at 5, and then Warren Fogle at 2. Cody Ceci, Evander Kane, and Darnell Nurse each have a point. Everyone else on the roster has 0 points.
Yeah, it's just their power play.
It's literally just the power play. It's insane. Yeah. Same old issues in Edmonton, which is shocking.
Yep.
Because it still could be the year, but it just doesn't look good over there right now. They've given up 20 goals in 5 games. Oh, dear. All right.
Yikes.
All right. Let's wrap. This was a Sunday edition of the Bandwagon Hockey Podcast. A little bit of a sleepy one for us.
A little bit. Still ramping up.
That's fine.
Yes, sir.
Skip the midweek. Shaking up the cobwebs still.
Midterms coming up.
Go Hockey.
We'll get rolling.